We're very fortunate in Canterbury because we've got a lot of water and it comes from many different sources. Because we're a big region, we've got water from the Alps where there's very high rainfall, particularly during westerly events. So that generates a lot of rain and snow that's able to keep going over all through the summer as river flow. So we've got our alpine rivers, are our big ones like the Rakaia, Waimakariri, Waitaki and other alpine rivers. Then we have what we call the hill-fed rivers, so rivers perhaps like the Ashley or the Orari and others, which come out of the foothills of the Alps, and they're rain-fed. They don't get the big rainfall events like the alpine rivers. Then we have our spring-fed streams on the coast, which are fed from groundwater, and it's our groundwater resource that is probably our biggest water resource, or it is our biggest water resource in Canterbury, particularly on the Canterbury Plains. The water and the groundwater comes from two sources. It is either from the water that leaks out of the alpine streams and the hill-fed streams as they run across the plains. So we're used to the idea of water being lost, particularly in the hill-fed streams. You'll often see that they dry up. It appears they dry up as they run across the plains. That water is going into groundwater. So that's feeding the groundwater. And the alpine rivers are big enough they don't dry up, but they also feed the groundwater. So that's one source, but it's not the biggest source of water into the Canterbury Plains. The biggest is rainfall falling across the plains, but it's rainfall in the winter, and it's really important to realise that it's the winter rainfall that makes the difference. That's when the evaporation is low enough that the rain actually gets through the soil and down into the groundwater. Now it takes a long time for it to get there, but that's when it happens during the winter months. It gets through and recharges the groundwater. So the sources of water that we have are our groundwater, our alpine streams or alpine rivers, and our hill-fed streams, and then the spring-fed streams are fed out of the groundwater. So the spring-fed streams, the Avon is a classic spring-fed stream that flows through Christchurch. There are lots of them all across the Canterbury Plains and the lower parts.